Hey, what up, and welcome to another episode of Creased. Now, if you've been with us since the beginning, you know what's happening here. But I hurt my leg. I was gonna rest up because there wasn't really nothing happening in terms of content. But the biggest story in the world just keeps coming. So I wasn't gonna do a video with this. But obviously the Kanye thing is going nuts, so we're back on Kanye for one last time, I guess. Unless he makes his own shoes eventually without Adidas, I don't know. But pretty crazy. You've seen the title, seen the images, you know exactly what this is. Adidas has terminated their deal with Yeezy. And to be honest, it was the last one left. Like, Balenciaga had left, Gap had left prior to him, Def Jam has terminated his contract with Yeezy and therefore the good music label that Kanye has. His management, who there's something to do within Def Jam, but his management's tore it up too. There's nothing left, right? He's got more money than any person will ever need in this world, right? Could just chill out forever, but Kanye being Kanye, or Ye as he prefers to be called, probably won't happen. I said last week that in his little vlog that artistically looked pretty cool. It was an interesting insight into his world. I said that in the meeting where it shows Adidas, obviously he's being quite childish and everything, but it shows him laying it all down, saying, you've hurt me, he's got his man backing him up and everything like that. But it never really showed anything on their end, right? They were kind of just smiling and nodding. I think it was in Germany. I think. Maybe there's a language barrier, who knows? I don't know, but that was very telling. Obviously, I'm going to put a whole meeting up on the internet, but you would at least show some sort of camaraderie, something that showed that it was a positive outcome, right? Not just you telling them what's what. That was very telling. Obviously that comes out. I just watched the Drink Champs interview, maybe half of it by the time I did the last video. Watched the last of it or listened to it while I was gaming, to be fair. And the more he kept getting into it with the anti-Semitic stuff and everything like that, and then it turned into, oh, I'm jealous of them. And he was Jewish as well. Like, for me, I can't work out if they're just thoughts in real time without a filter, they're not well thought out, or it's just verbal diarrhea. I just, either that or someone's like in his ear with rhetoric. I don't know, because the George Floyd thing was ridiculous because he's obviously been shown some sort of propaganda because he gave $2 million to his family to help with the funeral, help with the kids and everything like that. So for him to then completely do the flip, it just sounds like someone's in his ear, which is crazy because a man saying he needed that for music for years, right? Someone in the studio telling him what's what. But this is all happening in real time. I was gonna go straight last night and deliver it, but I decided to, let it simmer, get a few other opinions and that sort of thing before it came to be. And I'm glad I did, because a video that just dropped showed Russell Simmons, who's actually the founder of Def Jam, come out and basically tell Kanye to apologize and he'll be able to, make it all work again. I don't know why the video was such poor quality. I would have put it here, but like there's bugs going off in the background and all this, and I could try it with an anti-noise filter or something, but the gist of it was they worked out that they weren't really making money off Adidas, so they started Fat Farm, right? Fat Farm, everyone told him he was crazy trying to do. If you remember in the 90s, early 2000s, Fat Farm was huge. Baby fat as well for the women. But they did their own shoe, and for a moment there, huge. I remember in like hip hop magazines back in the day, like there wouldn't be Jordans or like Adidas or anything. It'd be like Fat Farm, Domaini Dada, Lugs, all this type of stuff, right? Rappers didn't really wear sneakers like they do now. They would wear, you know, those hip hop centric brands. There probably were like artists that wore stuff, and obviously there's images throughout history, but like for the most part it was that stuff, right? LL Cool J coming out with FUBU, helping them promote it, not coming out himself, and you know the list goes on. Then you know artists started going, let's do our own thing. That's where Wu-Tang jeans, Snoop Dogg clothing, Shady clothing, and all this, the rest, right? Where it got to, obviously, is where you have Kanye West, who's collaborated with Adidas designers and created Yeezys, right? Prior to that, he was working with Nike. He didn't make any money from those. He, rightly or wrongly, said, you know, I'm bringing this much attention to Nike. No one was caring about Nike prior. Nobody believes that. He wanted to be paid from his shoes, and he said, no, this is what we do with everyone. So he goes to Adidas, jump ship, the rest is history, right? Until last night, late last night. Today is Wednesday. We're talking Tuesday night. The writing was on the wall for a long time. Everyone could see it coming, let's be honest. But they finally did. I actually have the press release. It's come from Herzengerak. Obviously in Germany, Adidas is a German company. But it says, for immediate release, Adidas terminates partnership with Ye immediately. At least they said Ye. That's what he wants to be called. Let the man call what he wants to, you know. He made reference to Muhammad Ali and Cassius Clay, but I mean, you know, call yourself what you want to. I don't care. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any sort of hate speech. Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness. After a thorough review, the company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Ye immediately, end production of Yeezy branded products, and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. That's an interesting one because, and we'll get to some other stuff, but like there's been colorways that have dropped in the last few weeks or whatever. His royalties wouldn't have cleared by then, I would assume, you know. Just the way payment cycles are, the way, you know, all those shoes he just doesn't get any money for. Adidas just goes, nah, done. I don't know about that. Adidas will stop the Adidas Yeezy business with immediate effect. This is expected to have short-term negative impact up to €250 million on the company's net income in 2022, given the high seasonability of the fourth quarter. They're talking about Christmas, right? Whether you just wear shoes for functionality or whatever, like Christmas time you go a bit stupid and spend more money. Me, I do it all year. Adidas is the sole owner of all designs rights to existing products as well as previous and new colorways under the partnership. More information will be given as part of the company's upcoming Q3 earnings announcement on November 9, 2022. So basically, Kanye saying that his designs were, I'm not saying the word, you already know what he said, is a big fat lie. They believe, you know, he was in the process of sketching and everything like this when it came to the Air Yeezy 3. But if you look at it, like the makeup of it, you can tell, I'm pretty sure it was Tinker that designed that. That's Tinker Hatfield right there. Stephen Smith was involved in a large portion of the Adidas designs. There's other people around, obviously. But Stephen Smith is always disrupted. To say that, Kanye designed these all by himself without people around him is ridiculous. So, within their deal, because remember at the time, like, Kanye just wanted money from Nike, right? He didn't get that, goes to Adidas, we're going to pay you. He gets paid royalties, percentages, whatever the case may be. Within that deal, though, there's no rights to the IP. The IP stays with Adidas. So he can't then take his designs, and then release them himself outside of Adidas. They're owned by Adidas. So essentially, Adidas rebrand them and just call them the 350s, the 750s, or whatever, right? Like they did with the Kobe joints. Crazy 8s or whatever they call it. Maybe they call it Crazy 350s. Kind of makes a little bit more sense, eh? What's funny too is obviously it's a press release. If you've never seen a press release, they've always got contact details down the bottom, everything like that. I would not be surprised if trolls or just Kanye fanboys spam the fuck out of them emails and numbers. But the problem with Kanye is when he's been pulled up on his thing, because people say things in the heat of the moment where we go, oh, and they'll go, what do you say? Actually, no, what I meant to say was, or what about the old thing of, I don't know enough on this subject to have an opinion. It's interesting times. For me, I've said, like, either it's a case of him not having fully fleshed out ideas, maybe not even thought about them long enough, it's just verbal diarrhea. But there's also part of me that thinks he's the world's biggest 2-year-old. If you get a 2-year-old right now and like they hear something that you say and they repeat it and you get angry with it, they keep saying it because it sparks a reaction. For me, I just think he's addicted to attention, whether good or bad. It used to be there's no such thing as bad publicity, but I think we've found the case of there's no such thing as bad publicity. This is bad publicity. There's no good from it. From his remarks alone, you had like KKK members or whatever, like protesting in California, saying Kanye was right. Like, it's dangerous rhetoric. The thing is too, right? Let's say tomorrow, he's got the capital. Tomorrow he launches the Yeezy Infinite or whatever, right? He's been banned off Twitter, banned off Facebook, banned off Instagram. I don't think he's been banned off YouTube because he dropped that vlog. He's not allowed on left-wing and right-wing political newscapes, right? Fox Media have said they don't want him. No one wants him. They've got what they want out of him. They've said, nah, that's enough. Even Drink Champs, where the whole podcast, they're like, you'll always have a platform here. 5 minutes later, like, oh, it's been taken down. Nori goes on an apology tour for doing the podcast. And let's be honest, for all intents and purposes, Nori and DJ FN tried to save him. They tried to save him from himself and like, nah, that's not what you mean, and he just kept going with it. He's got no platform. There's no one behind him. Like, no one wants to stand behind what he's saying except maybe Donald Trump. He has said that he wants to buy Parler, which is essentially a right-wing, well, they're calling it a right-wing social media platform. What it is something that is very strict on freedom of speech. So you can say whatever you want, whatever you view, freedom of speech. That's under the guise of freedom of speech. Now, that automatically has people going, you know, it's right-wing this, people hate speech, all that type of thing. It could be. I'm not on there, so I couldn't tell you. He wants to buy that. I don't know what the usership is of Parler, but I'm guessing the type of people on there aren't buying Yeezys, right? I'm also guessing the amount of people on there probably isn't enough to sustain his own company, especially if he's coming out of his own pocket with capital. Where does he go from here? Me personally, if I was him, I'd chill the fuck out, look internally, reassess my life. I've got billions in the bank. I don't need to do anything but be with my kids. Drop the crazy cult like God shit and just be a father, man. Like, just go chill with your kids. Like, none of this shit actually matters. More so than that, being with your family, everything like that. Maybe mentor some people. Be the person you wanted as when you were a kid. But yeah, I know it's not going to go down like that. And what I basically do foresee happening is a court battle, for one, between Kanye and Adidas. I also foresee, people have been saying resale prices are going to go nuts, right? I don't think so, because even like a day later, I'm scrolling through little boutique joints and there's plenty of Yeezys I can buy myself. Just like to jump in right here and let you know that the sponsor of this video is actually no one at all. I just forgot a really important point for this video, but Foot Locker have actually said that they will no longer sell Yeezy products. So even if there's Yeezy product on the shelves or whatever, they're taking them off the shelves. Now, they've only announced this in the last couple of days, but I remember at the time of making that video initially, the first video, I think it's called Salt Slate or whatever, there was a 700 and a 500 MVN or whatever. There's two models, right? And I think there was maybe even a slide, but there was a bunch of shit sitting on Foot Locker, and I'm like, man, this has finally killed it. Like, they're sitting, and then like full size runs and everything, then all of a sudden they were gone. And it wasn't the fact that they'd been released, because they'd already been released. They were sitting there, and then all of a sudden they were gone. And I thought, I remember one of the boutiques telling me that I couldn't return Yeezys if they didn't fit because Adidas takes them back and all this type of shit, right? But they were telling me that if they don't sell after a certain period, Adidas takes them back. So I thought, oh, maybe they've done this. But no, this seems to have more implications to what's happening. The motions were just moving forward quicker than what had been announced. That's what I'm feeling. There's raffles up for the Zebra 350s. I'd be very surprised if they weren't cancelled already, but we'll have to see. There's a bunch of Yeezy stuff still sitting online. See what happens. Obviously, they're not classic colorways, they're not favored silhouettes, that type of thing. But zebras, belugas, certain things that are popular. Wave runners. I think the resale value on them will go nuts, because the resale value on those kind of stagnant, or went stagnant to a degree, because the rhetoric is they could do a restock at any time. So it almost to the point where people that wanted Yeezys were Yeezy fans. It didn't seem so much to be resellers anymore, outside of like the slides. I feel like the slides still resell. So I think, wave runners, zebras, turtle doves, all those classic colorways within those silhouettes that people associate it with, definitely. I feel like the resale price is going to go nuts. Is it going to quite go Chicago's After the Last Dance? Not really. And that comes down to they're just not that good a shoe. And I'd love for people to come out now, when they re-release them, if you did just genuinely like the shoe, if Adidas re-releases them as the Crazy 350 or the Crazy whatever, or just calls it the Adidas 350, if they re-release them, Kanye's not attached to them, are you still buying them because you like the shoe, or was it only the Kanye attachment? Because for me, I still don't see them as that great. I know I have bought a pair of Yeezys in the past, but I got rid of them as quick as they came too. So I see a lot of people talking about his mental health and everything, and you know, regardless of what's happening, because obviously, you know, what he's saying is not great. Regardless of your mental health and everything, it must be tough being on the world stage, having, you know, a mental issue at the time, and people keep prodding you and poking you to get more out of it because it's clicks for them, it's views for them, you know, it raises the bar wherever it goes. But to an extent, like, if I had, it's hard to say, because, you know, alcoholics are alcoholics for a reason. They're addicted to it. Is Kanye addicted to the attention? I feel like he is. And I feel like he'll use whatever avenue he has at his disposal to get it. There was a part in the Drink Champs interview where he says they ripped him off and he didn't get a cent from the Netflix deal and he should never, you know, but he just let it go. He's literally in the documentary saying, my friend's got all this footage for a documentary, you should do a deal with him. There's so many things that are contradictory with what he says that honestly just feel like this needs to chill the fuck out, smoke a shit ton of weed and just relax. Like, have some good people around you that aren't looking at you, you know, financially, beneficially. They're not trying to get anything off you. People you can trust. Get away, chill for a few months, maybe a couple years, maybe never come back to the limelight. I can't see anything positive coming from this type of behavior continuing, but that's me. That's my thoughts. This has definitely been an era from the days of, you know, I can't even remember what they're called, were they 500s or 700s, where it looked like an Ugg boot, to, you know, then we had the 350 and just all these different models, and the more that they came out, me personally, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, who is buying this shit? And people just going, oh, he's a genius, he's ahead of his time and all this. And then like he'd release and everyone would be like, oh yeah, but they're comfortable, you got to try them on, they're comfortable. And then they released models and they didn't even have boost in them anymore. So for me, I feel like this whole period within sneakers is essentially like the pandemic. Stay with me. You don't really associate those 2 years as actually happening, right? You look back at it, it doesn't sound real. We almost try and forget about it. We almost want to make it like that era doesn't count. That's kind of how I feel like with this, because honestly, and you know, I'm going to get roasted in the comments because there's a bunch of people that do like Yeezys and everything. Me personally, I never really liked them, even when they like kind of maybe were growing on me. There was times I could have pulled the trigger and did. The only time I bought a pair was off a guy that I know for a steal, basically for a video to say my first pair of Yeezys. Then I traded them for some SB Dunks. What I do foresee happening though is there's already a lot more diversity in the sneaker world. Puma's killing it with their basketball stuff. I just feel like they need to get something in with like the lifestyle range. Clyde was cool back in the day, but they just need something new that brings that in. New Balance is on fire. With this all happening in terms of the sneaker world, I feel like New Balance is number 2 straight away. If you say Nike and Jordan are the same, if you say they're separate, you go Nike, Jordan, then New Balance. In terms of like Kanye going to another brand, I said last video, I was like, you know, Nike might, if they were ever interested, now would be the time to start sweet talking him and maybe trying to get him over. With so much public backlash, I don't think any company's touching him. The only the only way that Kanye moves forward in the sneaker world, in fashion world, is his own thing. And even when he's done that, like when he was doing stuff outside of any other brand that was just strictly Yeezy, it was all that clothing that made you look homeless. So yeah, look, I just hope he's got some good people around him. Maybe he's willing to listen to a few of them now. Relax, spend some time with the kids, and stay off the internet. Stay out of the headlines. Just relax. But this has been another episode of Creased. Currently injured right now. I'm running around in the mischief boot. Not that I really wanted to, but hey, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back next week. Peace. Oh, fuck. That should work.